I remember exactly where I was when this happened. Do you remember when they brought Trunks back?
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that because that shit dropped at 4 in the morning and I was asleep and I woke up at like 9:30 and I'm fucking wiping the coals out my eyes like Biggie. And then I turn on my computer and I see the poster you're talking about and I'm like, fuck, I missed this. Because I knocked out that night.
I remember by this point, because we had all known about Dragon Ball Super, right? But to this point, Super, at least in America, was still what I would say underground. But once that dropped, I remember people like going to school because I moved during this time period. Like I moved, and I remember going to school and I see more people talking about Dragon Ball Super. Have you seen Dragon Ball Super? You know about this new Dragon Ball Super? I'm like, yeah, dude, I've known about it for over a year. But like I remember Trunks being,
I did.
what got people, like a lot of people into Dragon Ball Super. The one thing that annoyed me though was that his hair was blue. Like I understood the reasons. I even watched your video on it. I remember doing that. But like his hair being blue, like that was just annoying to me. Like
I still don't think it should have been blue hair. It should have been the original hair.
And even like they would have it in the flashbacks and all that stuff, and it was just annoying.
No, in the flashback it's blue, remember? They had to reanimate it because whenever they did flashbacks, this is something about Super I found interesting. Whenever they did flashbacks to anything from Z, it was Kai footage. And anytime they had something that wasn't upscaled like Kai was, it would be redone. So every scene in the Trunks arc that flashback to that special was redone with the blue hair. Because they only wanted to use the Kai source. It was an already HD source of Dragon Ball. If you remember, what the episode where Krillin and Goku go find that weed for Master Roshi, they show flashbacks to OG Dragon Ball and it's all reanimated. It's all done like the modern style. And it's because they didn't have like a Kai version of OG Dragon Ball at the time. And so that's why it was like that. But his hair was retconned into being blue the whole time when it never was blue. Like you said, it was purple.
Yeah, I think I Mandela affected myself into.
Yeah, well, go back now, bro. When you get a chance, you will see it reanimated. It's fucking wild.
Because I definitely remember watching those episodes when they came out. But like Trunks coming back, like this really started the, taking Dragon Ball Super out of the underground in terms of popularity in America. Like I remember this is what really catapulted Dragon Ball Super's popularity.
You know what it is, bro? Because I remember how weird that time was. The Trunks coming back thing that you're talking about was actually, what was the name? An actual magazine covered that. Like I don't know if it was Time Magazine. It might have been Time Magazine. Some big ass magazine covered that Trunks coming back, but I don't remember which one right now, and that might be why.
And then from that point forward, like where it really exploded was, when Goku went UI and then it crashed Crunchyroll. Like, I remember that night too, and I know you remember. Like that's when Dragon Ball Super reached its zenith in terms of popularity, and even just it carried that ball going into the last episode.
That's when it was at its peak, unquestionably.
Yeah, and despite it being so popular, this episode actually performed its worst in terms of ratings. And I know there was like some things where they switched up the time slot and One Piece aired it's a week before too.
I will never forget the night that UI happened. Everything crashed. I got to see it, thankfully, with a Keyhole TV. I was watching the Japanese feed. And my review, I will never forget this as long as I live. My Dragon Ball Super review that night hit 100,000 views in 45 minutes. It didn't even get to an hour, and that shit was at 100K. That's like Latin American numbers, bro. I was like, what the fuck? I was happy, don't get me wrong, but I was like, people were really, really wanting to see this, yo. But remember, it was a double feature. They hyped it up like that.
But I actually made a video about this.
Back then? Oh, now? Oh, you meant now. Okay, yeah. I got you.
The highest rated episode of Dragon Ball Super was episode 47.
Was the Trunks
and then
episode,
the highest rated episode of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Kai was also 47. Because Dragon Ball Kai was episode 47 was when Goku transformed. So yeah, I find it interesting that the highest 3 rated episodes for Ball, Super and Kai was episode 47. But, you know, even with that taken into account, I thought the Tournament of Power, for as much hype as it gets, it wasn't even all that good. Like, it dragged on a lot. And, you know, like, Jiren, like...
Well, I feel that way about the retellings, but I agree with you. It ain't that good. It's just not.
He should have booked him like Kane the 2001 Rumble, just have him throwing people out.
That's what I wanted.
It was predictable in all the worst ways. Like you knew they were gonna win, and Jiren was being stupid, and then the sky was always dark and stuff like that. Just
I think I had a guy tell me like that.
Brand new podcast coming on the 24th of December. That's right, Christmas Eve. The 5 Generations of Dragon Ball with Geekdom 101. You don't want to miss it.